Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be drawing a giraffe with a starry night Van Gogh background inspired by the book Giraffes Can't Dance by Giles Andrea. For this project, you will need a piece of paper, a pencil, a Sharpie marker or a black marker, some crayons, maybe some markers if you have it at home, maybe Crayola or Mr. Sketch, and for later on you will need a paintbrush, a cotton ball or a Q-tip, and a cup of water. We're going to start by drawing our giraffe. So in the center of your paper you're going to draw a vertical oval, an oval that is long ways up and down. And then at the top left corner of your paper you're going to draw a smaller horizontal oval. So horizontal meaning that is going from side to side. Next we're going to draw the neck, so we're going to connect the right edge of that smaller oval to the right edge of the larger one, and then you're going to connect the middle of that smaller oval to the left edge of the larger one to create the neck. Then erase that top edge of that larger oval. Next we're going to draw some details on the face, so I'm going to draw a curved line for a smile, then a little diagonal short line for the nostril. Then I'm going to draw a curved line like a sad face with maybe some eyelashes if you want for the eye. Then we're going to draw the ears, and then those two little bumps on the top of the giraffe's head, those are actually called the ossicones, and we're going to draw those, and they have little hair on top, so then just a tiny zigzag line on top of those. Next we're going to draw the giraffe's arms and legs. So a diagonal line up and over and down, and then the same thing again below that line. Then you connect those two lines to create a shape attached to the giraffe's body, and then a half circle for the hoof of the giraffe. And then you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side, and then two more times for the other two legs. I'm going to make these two legs a little bit larger. So now it looks like my giraffe is standing up on two legs and is dancing. Don't want to forget the giraffe's tail, so two curved lines going up from the side of the body, and then a little puff with a zigzag line to create the puffiness of the hair on the tail. Next I'm going to make the giraffe spots on its body. So these are kind of like irregular shapes, so they're not really a specific shape like an oval or a triangle or a square. This is kind of just like a wobbly type of oval or circle. They actually remind me of paint splotches. When you're all done drawing your giraffe, make sure you trace it with Sharpie marker or black marker. If you plan to use water later on and markers to create a watercolor effect, You definitely want to use a permanent marker when tracing. When you're all done tracing, you don't want to forget to erase your pencil marks. Next, I'm going to draw a zigzag line going across the bottom area of my paper to represent the grass. And I will draw a few more shorter zigzag lines in that area below to add more detail. Next, I'm going to add a Van Gogh inspired Starry Night background to my drawing. So I'm going to start with a crescent moon. And then I'm going to add maybe some stars in the sky, just a few. And I will later accent them with some swirling lines for the wind and the night sky. You can draw your stars however you choose. I just drew 3 different types of stars that you can draw on your paper. Next, I'm going to add some more detail with crayons. So I'm going to add some more detail by adding zigzag lines to the grass with crayon, and then some swirling lines in the sky to show that the wind is blowing in the night sky. When adding the detail to the night sky, you want to use some blues and maybe even some purples, and add swirling lines, big swirling lines. And then once you add a few swirling lines, you could later on fill up the entire rest of the area using short lines in kind of a curved or rounded motion, just like Van Gogh did. He used short brush strokes following those swirls in his night sky. That's his signature way to paint, using short brush strokes. In this case, we're not using a brush, we're using a crayon, where we're making short kind of dashed lines throughout the night sky. You're done with those swirls, you want to take a white crayon and kind of draw swirls around your stars in the sky, And I know that you can't see this white crayon now. Once we turn our markers into watercolors later, you will be able to see them. They will magically appear. Don't forget to color in your giraffe. I use pink for the cheeks, and then I use yellow for the body, brown for the spots, and the inside of the ears, and the bottom of the feet, and the end of the tail. Next, I'm going to take some markers. I'm going to use green, blue, and purple, and I'm just going to kind of outline and kind of redraw some of the lines that I did in the background. So some of those zigzag lines, and then some of those swirling lines in the sky. If you want to turn these markers into watercolors, you simply need a cup of clean water and a paintbrush or a Q-tip, or even a cotton ball. If you use a Q-tip, make sure you do not rub your paper hard. All you're going to do is take your paintbrush in the clean water and kind of rub on top of the marker very lightly, and you'll notice that this kind of blends the marker out into the rest of the paper. When you do this in the sky, you should notice that all of that white crayon that you used earlier that you could not see magically appears. If you want to add more color while your paper is still wet, you could simply take your marker and rub it across your paper gently, and you'll see that the color of the marker kind of comes off into the water and onto the paper. To get rid of some of the puddles of water that you might have on your paper, you could take a paper towel and you could tap it onto your paper to soak up the extra water. I hope you enjoyed drawing this dancing giraffe with the Van Gogh Starry Night inspired background. Don't forget to have fun, be creative, and don't worry if you make a mistake. See you next time.